Hello Divinities, my name is Simone and you're watching Awaken Command Divinity, where I provide spirituality tips for the newly awakened to help them build a better spiritual foundation. So today we're going to be continuing the series on the chakras, with us going into depth with the root chakra. So I do want to note that as I do put a bit of focus on Kemetic practices and Kemetic spirituality from a African American standpoint, I think it's important that we do recognize the chakras as part of our spiritual journey and part of our spiritual toolbox, or part of our spiritual knowledge, so to speak. My reason for that being is that the chakras are fundamentally recognized across all spiritual practices. I have tried to research on the basis of chakras in ancient Egypt and ancient Kemet. I did find some Reiki information regarding the chakras and Kemetic spirituality. However, I couldn't find any full, detailed, in-depth information regarding that, so I'm not going to include that in this video just because I want to make sure I provide you guys with reference information and not just hearsay, so to speak. I mean, unless it's coming through like readings or some shit, but that's different. I feel like it's important to address the chakras because they are very important to pursuing energy work, as they are a major focus on a lot of energy work, and like I said before, they are one of the more universal theories, so to speak. They do have like Sanskrit origins, but Hindu and Sanskrit origins, and I think those are close to the same thing. Sanskrit might be like the language. I'm sorry, I'm not too knowledgeable on that, but I'll be posting like the information right here because I do like providing information. But a lot of other practices kind of focus on the chakra system as well, or at least bring it up or reference it in some way, shape, or form. So it's kind of like a widespread type of thing. So the book that we're using for as a reference guide is Sacred Chakras by Victor Archuleta, which we referenced before in the first video on chakras. If you want to see that video, make sure you click this link here. It'll be linked somewhere here or up there. So I do want to note that, like I said, I don't have much Kemetic knowledge for the chakras at this time. If something comes forward or something gets presented to me, or if I find new information or like a Kemetic standpoint for the chakras, I will definitely like make a video on that and bring that to your awareness. But I do want to look at chakras as more of an Ayurvedic approach from like a wellness standpoint, because like I said, chakras are referenced and used as a reference point throughout spirituality or like different spiritual practices. Now I do want to say, please make sure you watch this video to the end, so that way I can leave you with a few tips on how to support your root chakra, and along with some visualizations for the more advanced practitioner. Now I do want to let you know that chakras are important to study as you first start, because an imbalance in one chakra can affect all of your other chakras. There are only 7 main chakras that really a lot of people focus on, but your body has like a range of them. I don't really know the full range, but focusing on the main 7, that's what these videos are going to focus on. If I feel like I need to include other chakras when I get to the point where I can study those, I definitely will include them. An imbalance in chakras can mean either that it's underactive, overactive, or it's blocked. So the first chakra is located at the base of your spine, and it is associated with the color red and the musical tone of C. The root chakra is our sense of foundation or safety. So according to the Sacred Chakras book, we're looking at like courage and security. It can help us with feeling grounded. It's especially good if you're doing like grounding practices, even though you also might want to look at like your other chakras that are not considered part of the main 7, so I won't mention it here. But it's super important as you grow in your abilities, because this is the chakra that you will probably start focusing on grounding with, and then you can look at your other chakras for grounding as well once you proceed through your journey. So symptoms of the root chakra being unbalanced: you may feel a bit spacey or lightheaded. You could feel dizzy. You may also feel a sense of instability or feeling like you're unsafe in your life. Now, if this chakra is overactive, you may get a sense of anxiety or paranoia. You could also get like a scarcity mindset. And this chakra also gives you like a winner-loser sense of division if this is overactive. Now, I do want to take this chance to like address some key ideas and sense of unity with spirituality. Now, it can be very easy to want to jump into spirituality and prefer to work with your higher chakras. But if you work with those higher chakras only, you will get yourself ungrounded, and you could give yourself a sense of feeling spacey or feeling not fully here. Many people that start on their spiritual journey want to just go straight to opening their third eye, and there are many gurus and teachers that talk about opening your third eye and don't really address your other chakras. And I do want to say that each chakra is equally important And you need solid foundations in order to move to the higher chakras, because if you have weak foundations, you could kind of screw yourself up with that. I also want to add that I know that some people take like more mental health is caused by chakra imbalances stance. As someone with mental health, I don't think it's just that. I think that working on the chakras can help with the mental health. But like, if you suffer from any sort of mental illness, definitely speak to like a medical professional and get medical advice. I can't give you guys any, so just throwing that out there. I cannot give you guys medical advice, and I can't really tell you, forget taking your meds, because I'm someone that needs to take their meds all the time. And from a standpoint of that, and from a standpoint of where I'm at spiritually, for my personal journey, I feel that sticking with my meds along with spiritual work is the way that I need to go. I don't feel like I'm needing to abandon my meds and focus solely on the spiritual or anything like that. Each person's journey is different. Each person will have different circumstances, so make sure you're talking with a medical professional who's actually trained to handle that, or talk with a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever you need to do, so that way you can handle things from a spiritual standpoint, but also like address it from a mental standpoint. We got to look at this as like layers and everything working together. That's what I would prefer to see it as, rather than one thing against the other. Now, an underactive root chakra will show as a feeling of powerlessness. If you have an underactive root chakra, you'll have a victim mentality. And now, I know that there are systematic problems in our world, in our 3D, that do contribute to how we are able to move through the 3D. And I'm not trying to erase that with the systematic problems. However, I do want to acknowledge that with root chakra imbalances, you could be neglecting taking responsibility in some areas where you do have that control, and you need to recognize that sometimes we are the problem, and that is totally okay. As long as we recognize that and try to move forward from there, then we're able to do what we need to do. I'm not saying like you're always the problem or anything like that, because I definitely think that the system is a system of oppression. Personal thought for another day, discussion for another day. But taking control of noticing the areas you do have control is something that I think is super important. An underactive root chakra also provides separation mentality, believing that you're separate from all the other people in this world. When you enter spirituality, you come into this sense of all one, like we're all connected, we're all reflections of each other, we're all one another, and this is one another. But if your root chakra is underactive, you may not see that very clearly. You could be detached from that. You could see yourself as completely separate from others. Other underactive root chakra symptoms are depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. Now, as I said before, I am someone that has depression and anxiety. And while I do think that there is some ways in which one could attribute symptoms to the root chakra, I do think a mental health standpoint needs to be taken as well. And I think that working spirituality with Western medicine, Western ideas is important. As I stated before, I don't believe that fixing like the root chakra will fix all of your problems, or you should just focus on your chakras and stop taking your meds or anything like that. I recommend making sure you work with a health professional and getting the help that you need and is deemed necessary for you, while also like if you are able to be aware and supplement that side of things and like that interaction of the medications and the mindset and all that other fun shit that is reserved for a psychologist and psychiatrist and a doctor and someone that's definitely not me. Focusing on the root chakra will help you with coping. I definitely feel like meditation has helped me as someone with a mental illness with coping. It does help me find a little bit more zen in my life. It's hard to describe it because it's a feeling that I like, and it's a feeling that I think does contribute to me coping better. And again, I just want to state, like, I feel it's very irresponsible of me to say, I have depression or anxiety because of root chakra issues, or someone may have root chakra issues and it's not like a matter of brain chemistry issues. Like, no, I think that is very irresponsible. I think we need to look at like both sides of the coin. Physical symptoms that your root chakra is out of balance. You may have issues with your tailbone, your legs, your feet, and for men, the male reproductive organs. I'm not going to go into like any of that past the basics, but I do want to like bring those to your attention in case you decide to get into energy work like Reiki. You may notice like as you're working with the energy, you'll see it manifest in those specific areas. In case you guys were not aware, I am a skeptic when it comes to spirituality. Even though I speak on like a lot of things and a lot of research that I've done, I am trying to speak on it from a place of, again, a scholar and a place of personal experience. So if I don't have a personal experience on something, or if I haven't really had a chance to study on it, you guys won't see me talk about it too much. I do want to note, however, I do believe spiritual issues or mental issues can manifest as physical symptoms. I do think that like not being aware of your mindset and not being aware of what is going on in your emotional world can manifest as physical symptoms. For example, if I go through a period of stress, I know that personally I start to get like a lot of tight muscles, in particular my shoulder right here, the left shoulder likes to get very tight and tense, and it will like I will like hold it tense up against my ear like this but not be aware of it. So I definitely think that like there is some physical aspects to mental stuff. I mean, you guys probably experience it too, like if you've ever gone through like an extremely tense situation and then now you feel like you need like a massage or something. Definitely, like, speaking from personal experience, that's what I have for that. Probably could do research on it, but at the time of filming, I have not done the research for that. I'm not really trying to do the research on that. Maybe later. I mean, like I said, you guys know I'm more of a scholar than anything, so maybe later. Another piece of evidence that I want to kind of point out as like a symptom of stress manifesting physically, which is why I can see why the chakra, like any chakra issues could manifest physically, is that, for example, I have eczema. Well, if I go through very, very strong periods of stress, then my eczema starts to act up and it like starts to spread and just become more prominent on my skin. Whereas like if I'm not stressed out, if I'm very relaxed, then I don't have too many eczema issues. I guess the best way to phrase it, and again, this is anecdotal evidence, I feel like researching this would just make this video way too long, and it's already going to be long. For people that get into more advanced chakra studies, can use yoga to balance your chakras. Now, I know that not everyone has a bunch of time in their day to do yoga, or maybe like you might not be able to physically like move in certain ways to help balance your chakras. So I'm going to go over some other ways that you're able to bring your chakras into balance. Or if you're lazy like me and you sometimes, if you're having a low spoon day, this will be some of the few ways that you're able to bring this chakra into balance and support this chakra until you have enough spoons to do yoga. So the corresponding day for the root chakra is Saturday. However, I know some people choose to correspond their chakras to certain days of the week, so they may do their root chakra on Sunday or they may do their root chakra on Monday. But based on my research for this topic, it appears that the root chakra corresponds to Saturday. Do whatever works for you. If your body feels better like doing the root chakra on Monday, go for it. My only reason for bringing this up is because if you're like me and doing things the lazy way or doing things the low spoon way, it's best to just work with the energy of that day to kind of add a little boost when you can't out of your own energy. One of the easiest ways to support the chakra is through your diet. If, again, as someone with anxiety, I know that it can be hard to eat some days. So, like, if you're not able to eat, maybe you're able to drink or something like that, because that personally for me and my anxiety, I find consumption of drinks is a lot easier than consumption of food. Whatever works for you. These are some of the foods that you're able to bring in order to help support this chakra, or ingredients, so to speak, because like you don't even have to eat the food. You can like drink teas and stuff. I actually prefer drinking teas to support my chakras because I do like drinking tea overall, and I do like using tea as a way to supplement my spiritual journey and my magic. So some of the teas that will correspond to your root chakra, we have dandelion root tea. If I could like place my fingers together. We also have elderflower. Another ingredient that corresponds to the root chakra is rosemary, ribberose, hibiscus, ginger, and sage. Now, personally, I like hibiscus. I actually try to have a lot of hibiscus teas. And believe it or not, you can also use dandelion root for supporting like your upper chakras because it does help with like divination and stuff. But my tip for you using these ingredients in order to supplement that chakra is just making sure that you're praying over those ingredients, speaking your intention over them, and letting them know that they are supporting that chakra. Giving thanks to those ingredients and asking them for their help is also a good way to do it because, you know, plants and shit can like sense energy, and I feel like I need to back that up with some sort of scientific study, and I don't feel like linking that right now. Maybe one day I'll go through it. Whatever. Anyways, y'all can Google it. Y'all have the internet. If you're watching this video, you can Google it. Now, another bonus tip is if you're using tea bags of a singular ingredient, and this is just a random tip, basic witch tip, broke witch tip, low spoon witch tip, you can save them after your brew and just use the herbs and spiritual workings. Like, I have a whole bunch of herbs that I otherwise would not have been able to find that I got through teas, and just kind of save those to use for spiritual workings, because I mean, I still have it. They still have the energy and stuff. If you're more advanced or looking to have good habits for this chakra from the start, you don't have any mental illness or issues that keep you from operating as a normal human being or something like that. I mean, you can do this even if you have mental illness, but like, if you're like neurotypical, then this may be easier for you. But I can also recommend this for like the more advanced person. Another way that I like giving this chakra attention is by doing meditation related to the chakra on the corresponding day. So like on Saturday, I will root chakra sound bowls and meditate on the root chakra, or when another day comes up for another chakra support, I will play those corresponding sound bowls and meditate on that chakra. The corresponding sound bowls sound will be a C, but you can also YouTube various chakra videos or various sound bowl videos, and I even have my own playlist of chakra sound bowls that's in order from Sunday to Saturday of the different chakras that you will want to be supporting throughout the day. The corresponding incense is going to be kind of the same as the corresponding teas that I listed earlier. Like, the corresponding incense is like good if you're looking to like do a long-term support of that chakra, or if you're just wanting something to burn as you meditate over that chakra. Or I mean, you could get it as a candle and just have like the candle in certain areas of the house or something like that. Whatever works for you, however you want to work your magic. But again, those same ingredients for brews: dandelion root, elderflower, rosemary, hibiscus, ginger, sage, those will support your root chakra. Now, if you are someone that likes working with crystals, or you want to get into crystal work, or you want to get into crystal healing, the corresponding crystals for your root chakra are going to be black tourmaline, garnet, carnelian, citrine, bloodstone, obsidian, and smoky quartz. These stones in particular are considered protection stones as well, so they're very good working for like the lower, like any stone that you see that's labeled as grounding or protection, so to speak. Well, not any stone, but stones that are typically like of the grounding protection type will be good for root chakra work. I tried to list crystals that are going to be more accessible and versatile to the beginner, in case you don't have a lot of funds and you want to just maximize your dollar when it comes to purchasing crystals. Another good crystal, and I will always back this crystal, is going to be clear quartz. Clear quartz can be used for any of the chakras, and really any can be substituted in for any crystal. So like, if you don't have any money, but you have very little money, at least get a clear quartz and use that. Like I said, these crystals are intended to be as versatile as possible, especially if you're on a budget, because they're going to cover the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. So that's like your 3 base chakras, which is great because less money you have to spend, less work for you. Okay, so along with a daily, often habitual visualization of a red spinning wheel at the base of my spine, you want to also visualize this wheel turning clockwise to you. For example, if I'm sitting here, and I think I went over this in the basic general chakra video, you'll want to go like in this direction from your own view. Once you have visualized this red ball of energy in your mind's eye, you will want to start to imagine roots coming from it and digging into the earth to like hold you down in a sense. This is a form of grounding, so I definitely recommend this as like a regular meditation in case you ever feel like you are ungrounded. So for this chakra in particular, but grounding is important. When you're working your energy, when you're working your magic in general, grounding is important. I go over the psychic witch review. Now, at this point, you can stop the visualization after you've maintained it for a little while of the roots, or you can keep going with the visualization and imagine as you keep going with the roots until they reach the center of the earth and connecting with the earth energy. Now, you guys may be asking, but Jay, why would I want to do this? Why do I want to connect with the earth? Well, spirituality is all about honoring the earth, and not just the earth, the elements and things that are present in our world, and not so much as a point of worship, but honoring them as seeing them as other aspects of ourselves, all one, all that fun stuff. But also, believe it or not, the earth has chakra points. Now, this is something that I've recently taken up study but the earth has its own energy centers or energy vortexes. I might cover this in another video one day where I'll go over like different locations where these vortexes are, just to kind of talk about them. But connecting with the earth, connecting with that energy is great because it does correspond to the body. Now, as a beginner myself who tends to amass a wealth of knowledge, and I like to sit on that knowledge, other than advising you guys of the visualization I just described previously, I do recommend doing that visualization often. As I mentioned before, as I keep mentioning, probably mentioned like 10,000 times throughout this video, grounding is a super important exercise and daily practice staple that you want to be able to do. Personally, I tend to do grounding whenever I open my circle in meditation. I consider myself opening a circle in meditation the way I meditate. And when you start to feel ungrounded because you're working with your higher chakras, grounding down with your root chakra is going to help with that, because again, for most of the community focuses on your higher chakras, like your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, your throat chakra, not really the throat chakra, mostly the third eye and the crown chakra. But working with those chakras or focusing mostly on those chakras will leave you feeling ungrounded, and you'll kind of see me discuss that as I get to those chakras as I proceed. So if you're feeling like a very fried circuit, or you're feeling out of it, or feeling like you're not fully here on the planet embodying your current incarnation, grounding is what will pull you back to being more present here on this planet. And you can think of it as like electricity, or how we work with electricity. When electricity is flowing freely, it looks for a source to ground. So as you move energy throughout your body and do energy work, it is going to look for a source to ground. And if you continue to move it through your body and not ground it, then you will encounter issues. Now, I want to note that I personally have not experienced like this fried sense of feeling, or this not fully here sense of feeling. I will go through periods of feeling spacey, in which case if I notice that I'm feeling spacey, I will be doing focused grounding practices. I have found 2 books so far that will talk about the ungrounded practitioner. Psychic Witch, again, I did a review on that, mentions that, and also Jambalaya mentions it as well. And check out my review on Jambalaya. It's a really good book. Definitely recommend adding it to your bookshelf, regardless of where you're at or how you identify your spiritual journey. It is a very good kind of cross-cultural book, so I recommend it. But if you are familiar with the archetype of witch that doesn't seem completely there, like a village crazy lady, this is often due to spiritual overload with failing to maintain good spiritual hygiene, like that, including maintaining regular grounding. I do want to add here that neurodivergence doesn't mean ungrounded, and ungrounded doesn't mean neurodivergence, because there can be like a sense of that as one looks at this, and you will kind of learn how to tell the differences as you continue to investigate. And I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to put anyone down or really attack anyone or say anything like that. It's just that they do have a potential for overlap, and you can think of it as if you start coughing and you decide to Google your symptoms, and suddenly you have brain cancer or some shit like that when you're just coughing. So that's why I bring that up. Now, I do want to thank you guys for watching this video. I definitely appreciate it, and please make sure to check out my other videos. They will be in the end card. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button so you're notified every time I post a video. I will be doing collective card readings on my Patreon for Divination Divinities, so if you are interested in that, or if you just wanted to support the channel, definitely check out my Patreon, and it'll be linked down below. I also recommend checking out my TikTok and my IG, as I do post shorter form content, but tips and ideas, and also some comedy stuff on there. So if you are wanting something like relatable spiritual content, then I definitely recommend checking those 2 spaces out. I also do post oracle card readings on both of them that vary from the tarot card readings I do on the channel. Thanks again for watching, Divinities, and thank you very much for your support. I hope you guys have a good day. Stay blessed.